Yo, what's up guys? Today we're looking at Mr. I's Bizarre Adventure Season 2 Episode 2, Orange Wind. This awesome video guys, I'm going to be talking about the Netherlands and its many changes throughout history. Okay guys, now let's actually stay on topic so I can show you guys how well prepared I am and that I actually got here on time. Before we start guys, I gotta inform you all about the context of this whole situation. So basically guys, you gotta know the Netherlands starts right here. Of course the Holy Roman Empire still existed, so the Netherlands wasn't independent yet. Good thing for us though, because the HRE is gonna die right about now due to some religious conflicts like the Reformation, specifically the Peace of Augsburg, which lets state princes choose their home team, Lutheranism or Catholicism. Sadly, nothing that interesting happens, and Spain still has control over the Netherlands, so I'm gonna just go to sleep. Yes, you heard me, I'm going to sleep. See ya! Oh my god, has it even been 20 years yet? Whatever guys, let's see what's been happening while I've been asleep. Holy moly, guys! Do you guys see that on the top left? It's the 17th century patch notes. Let's go check it out. Okay, so let's see. We got Isaac Newton is born. Okay, whatever. Absolutism and gunpowder plot. Interesting. Portuguese and Spanish kingdoms. Who cares? Where's the real news? Okay, good. The real news. Oh, let's see here, guys. We got the Dutch Golden Age here. Now, if you don't know what that is, basically, it's kind of objectively the best era for the Netherlands. I mean, guys, look at those stats. The Netherlands is way more competitive. Dutch life has shifted more to business classes, aka the bourgeoisie, and the Dutch have officially entered the spice trade with Portugal, Spain, and Britain. Also, I forgot to mention this, but the Netherlands officially gained its independence from Spain in 1581. Anyways, guys, the Netherlands kind of became this god-tier nation once it entered the spice trade in 1602 because it allowed the Netherlands to monopolize over certain spices like nutmeg, cloves, and more. The Netherlands' entrance into the spice trade was also a factor in the creation of the Dutch East India Company, a colonial and banking company that also used aggressive tactics to disrupt rivals like Portugal. This competitiveness would lead to conflicts with Portugal and Britain, which resulted in heavy losses on both sides. However, the spice trade and Dutch Golden Age were periods of time where the Netherlands experienced great economic, political, and cultural growth, where the effects can even be seen to today. Later, in the mid-17th century, the Netherlands would begin to, unfortunately, decline in power, as nations like Britain, France, and Prussia developed more absolutist and enlightened ideals. As absolutism spread around Europe, the Dutch had become vulnerable due to prolonged fighting and competitiveness with other nations like Britain and France during the age of discovery and exploration. It wouldn't be long when some nations attempted to take over the weakened Dutch Republic. In 1672, French forces would invade the Netherlands' southern provinces, which would officially start the war with France. The French army was of course under the command of the infamous Louis XIV, aka the Sun King. The Netherlands was hopeless against the Baguette army, unless someone else could support the Dutch. Wait, who's that? William of Orange? Who's that? The guy that helped destroy the French and then overthrow James I during the Glorious Revolution. Dang, he sounds like a Giga Chad. Yeah, he is. Okay, enough conversing with myself. We must go look at the 18th century patch notes. Okay, let's see here, guys. We got some map changes, specifically Prussia and Russia becoming more recognized nation states. Okay, we got some monarchical succession conflicts with Austria and Spain. Okay, and then French Revolution. Oh, let's see how the Netherlands is affected by that. Oh, wow, this looks really sad. Losing power struggle against France and Britain, daunting military expenses. And what? They get taken over by France? Oh my god, guys, this is literally so sad. Well, let's go check out the map now. Oh, wow, map changes. I mean, I don't care, because the Netherlands just died, so let's see how it all went down. First, let's take in a moment just to pay our respects to the Netherlands, of course. Okay, enough sulking around. We gotta talk about the Enlightenment era, which is the little phase that basically every nation in Europe just goes through. Also, the scientific revolution, too. In this time period, many nations are going to face radical changes in their political, social, and religious structures, with things like liberty, legal rights, and empiricism being extremely popular ideals among citizens and later rulers. The French government, of course, tries to act like a special little snowflake by only recognizing a few Enlightenment values. However, the French monarchy faced immense backlash due to mass poverty, unfair absolutist rule, and of course, a rise in Enlightenment values. All of these events would, of course, lead to the French Revolution. We're not going to talk about the French Revolution in France because this vid is about the Netherlands. So instead, we'll go over how the rest of the world was affected by the revolution. Basically, the revolts that began to occur at the start of the French Revolution started to spread to other nations. This was known as the Great Fear, and it would lead to the more deadly Reign of Terror, which was led by the Committee of Public Safety. One of the leaders behind this entire operation was the infamous Robespierre, who supported the use of guillotine against any foes. Every European nation was forced to defend themselves from the radical French. After a while, everyone was kind of done with the whole French Revolution thing, and this super nice guy named Napoleon Bonaparte came along and ended it. What a superb young man. I bet he'll turn out to be great. Now let's take a look at the map and oh no. Napoleon, what'd you do? You conquered everything, starting the Napoleonic Wars. You even conquered my boy the Netherlands. Well, guys, I think this is it. I guess that's how the 18th century ends. Do you guys want to know how this 19th century starts? With Britain absolutely destroying the French forces under Napoleon twice? Yeah, that's pretty cool, but can we look at the last patch notes of this video? As you guys can see, the Congress of Vienna is a pretty interesting event that occurred. It was cool that most of the global superpowers at the time were able to agree on trying to keep the balance of power alive. However, some of the things they did agree on were not always for the best, like how many of the European nations began to put down any sign of revolution. By immediately putting down any form of movement, the European nations were only preventing the inevitable, as indicated by the revolutions that occurred in the following century. So basically, guys, you gotta know that every country is going through their own phases of changes. France, for example, just went through a huge change from the French Revolution that rocked the entire world. Once an absolutist government, France began to go through their own revolutionary changes to become a beautiful republic. Some nations, like the Netherlands, replicated what France did, also went through their own ugly changes to become reform societies through the Revolt of 48, and that even includes Prussia, who later became a German state. Now all nations are super strong, so are they done shooting guns now? Nope, because we still got World War One. So guys, I hope you enjoyed my singing, and also how we skipped like plus 80 years worth of events, because they don't really involve the Netherlands, so they're kind of unimportant in the grand scheme of things. So guys, the last things we're going to be talking about are World War One and Two, because they kind of involve the Netherlands, and we haven't been talking about them a lot. So let's get right into it. So you have these Giga Chad nations with loaded armies, weaponry, and technology. So how will this legendary World War start? Well, it's basically going to start with Austria, where some rando named Archduke Ferdinand of Austria gets assassinated by a Serbian nationalist. Austria-Hungary gets rightfully pissed at Serbia and sends them an ultimatum that makes Serbia get Mama Russia, which makes Austria-Hungary get Mama Germany. And then Britain and France join, and then the Ottoman Empire joins as well. So yeah, it gets pretty crazy. So in the end, we got a war that kind of looks like this. Pretty interesting, I know. Of course, the Netherlands was smart and remained neutral, so kudos to them. Anyway, lots of changes arose from World War One, which of course would lead to World War Two. So let's get right to it. And that's it, everyone. In the end, the Netherlands actually wins everything. So yeah, GG easy. The end.